This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction to every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. And how about just a complete 180 of the game from last night? So right now, let me know in the comments what you guys think of the game, what you guys think, what is this offense closer to? What the offense we're going to see the last 40 games of the year is going to be closer to what we saw game 1 and game 3 in Sacramento against the A's, or more in the middle. You guys let me know. I want to hear from you guys. But we're going to talk about Drew Rasmussen doing Drew Rasmussen things and how this game and kind of everything that has to do with the Rays was the complete opposite of yesterday. All the teams ahead of the Rays lost, won yesterday. Today they all lost. So it's just kind of funny how that shakes up. We're talking about the Rays need to end the road trip strong in San Francisco, and we're going to look ahead. But first, let's talk about that offense.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It's the offense bouncing back, and it starts in the first inning. Chandler, as he always does, I put out a tweet because I think Chandler, over the last month, he was super hyped up when he first came up, rightfully so. Over the last month, I think he's become kind of less appreciated, if that makes sense. But recently, he's been so good. I mean, he was on base this entire series. He was fantastic. And again, what's he doing? What's he do when the Rays start the rally? He hits a leadoff single to start the game, ends up at third, and then we get to our turning point in this game. Happens 4 batters in.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It's the Josh Lowe double because the Rays had a chance with a runner on third, less than 2. Yandy can't get it done. He strikes out. So there's 2 outs. The Rays have struggled with 2 outs before. So in the game notes, there was an interesting stat with how bad the Rays have been in scoring position. So yesterday, the Rays were hitless 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And they are batting 193 in scoring situations as the All-Star break, 29th in the majors coming into this game. And what do they do to kind of respond to that? Josh Lowe just ropes a single into the gap, followed by Junior hitting one of the. I know the ball only came off 112 off the bat. When that ball left his bat, it sounded like a shotgun shot went off. I mean, just that what he does is incredible. Junior doubles, Jake Mangum singles. Again, what would the Rays do so well? And when they're on their streak, they took advantage of other teams' mistakes. A's make a few errors. Mangum comes around to score. Boom, 4-0, just like that. Exactly what the doctor ordered. And then we're going to end our second inning. That's where we get to our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Brandon Lowe hits the second furthest home run by a Ray this year, 458 feet. The reason why he's our player of the game, not only because he hit that monstrous home run to give the Rays even more breathing space, he hit his 150th home run. He's solo in the lead in third place in Rays franchise history for home runs, only behind Carlos Pena, who he's 13 behind, and then Evan Longoria, who he's quite a while to catch. But, a huge shout out to Brandon Lowe. I talked about this yesterday. I think what Brandon Lowe is doing this season is being super underappreciated by Rays fans. And, I kind of made it my mission the last 2 episodes to give Brandon Lowe his flowers. And this is what that's doing again, because he's had a fantastic season and deserves more love from the Rays community. I mean, again, a guy that's hitting 275 with what was he up now? 24 homers, something crazy. Either 23 or 24. I don't know if ESPN's updated yet, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing more you can ask for Brandon Lowe. He did all that before he played his 100th game of the season. So he just continues to be a stalwart in the middle of the lineup. And there's a reason why the slide kind of started when Brandon went on the IL. So incredibly happy for B. Lowe. Happy that he was able to get that milestone. They did a cool thing with the broadcaster Ryan Bass went and chased down the ball and everything. So again, a guy that I think is super underappreciated. So this season for sure. But let's talk about Drew Rasmussen. Normally we'll talk about the pitchers after the ad break, but I want to talk about him now because another guy that I think Rays fans just kind of expect now to go out there and give you 5-6 innings with 1 earned run or less. And what's he doing? Exactly that. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned. He's so efficient. Well, I love watching him pitch because it's like like an orchestra all in sympathy. He doesn't waste any time. He's simple to the movement. He's out of the stretch the whole time. He's fast to the plate, and he fills up the strike zone. Drew Rasmussen, no walks today. Drew Rasmussen has not walked someone in 11 in the third innings at least. That's the last 2 games. Last time he walked someone was the Yankee start, where he still went 5 innings, just 2 earned. The Rays have won his last 3 of his last 4 starts. He has not walked a batter his last 3 games now. The Rays have now won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's just been money. That ERA is going to be right around 2.5. I can't emphasize enough how good Drew Rasmussen has been. And when you're looking at guys at the rotation next year, the Rays going to have a lot of similar faces in that rotation next year. Drew Rasmussen, if Shane McClennan's not ready, is going to start opening day. That's how good he's been this year, and I still think that he is what's the right word? He is underrated. That's the right word. Underrated, underappreciated by the national media, and it's going to keep being like that unless maybe the Rays make a run, or maybe Drew kind of replicates this next year. But he's been good for a while now. He was really good last year, or technically 2 years ago, before he got hurt. He was good last year in the bullpen role, and now he's dominant as a starter this season. So 2 guys that I think deserve more flowers, Brandon Lowe, Drew Rasmussen. I'm giving them more flowers because they have been just fantastic so far this year. But we'll talk about how today was the opposite of yesterday. We'll talk about what the Rays can do to end the road trip strong, and we'll look ahead to the first game in San Francisco on Friday, but right after this. This episode is brought to you by Open Phone. If you run a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency, like a burst pipe. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait? Nope, you call the next one. That's why having a reliable business line is so important. That's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. And the AI agent handles after-hours calls, answer common question, and captures leads so you never miss a customer again. Open Phone is offering Locked On Rays listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonmlb. That's openphone.com/lockedonmlb. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. This episode is also brought to you by Game Time. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert or game tickets to go on sale, but only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert or game tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Again, you guys know I was in Anaheim. I used Game Time to get my tickets. A lot of Rays fans there in Sacramento. If you guys are going to the series in San Francisco or the little 5-game homestand versus New York and St. Louis, Game Time is what you need to use. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, reading code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Again, if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a comment. But again, today was just the opposite of yesterday. The Rays couldn't get anything going offensively. It felt like Shane Baz, anytime he got anything going, was immediately just kind of steamrolled, just back down, regressing a little bit. And today was the opposite. The Rays got stuff going early and often, and they finished off the game. The Rays still left some meat on the bone. A lot of the times they got a runner to third base, less than 2, couldn't get it in, couldn't put that dagger in until the 9th inning when Junior just again launches one. He has been so locked in this road trip. And a big story coming into this road trip, or not a big story, but a trend coming into this road trip was Junior kind of struggling, home and road split. So at home, he was hitting 323. And on the road, even after this kind of heater he's on, he's hitting 195. So the fact that he's doing all this when all season he's kind of, I won't say been disappointed, has been not up to his standard on the road is fascinating, to say one, and super impressive the way that he's been able to turn it around, to say the least. So, Junior is doing stuff that, $200, $300 million players do. And I think hopefully Junior and the new ownership can get that done when the time is right. And then again, underrated part of this, I think, is the bullpen, man. I'm really starting to see Brian Baker, especially Brian Baker, and Griffin Jacks kind of lock in and get comfortable. I say Brian Baker because we know the troubles he had when he first came up. Obviously, there's that whole conundrum where Cash put him in after he got off a plane, which was, kind of crazy. But Baker, over his last 4 innings, has allowed over his last 5 innings, has allowed just 1 run and has struck out 8 people. So, I mean, he's settled in nicely. And that's the Brian Baker that I think everyone thought that they were going to see. But now let's look ahead and see how the Rays can finish the road trip strong. So, first, we'll look ahead to the game tomorrow. And, the Rays are facing Landon Roop, who's sneaky good. And I think a guy that's not respected, kind of naturally, because he's a guy that just goes out there and does his job. His second full year with the majors, I was doing some prep on this, and I was, I've heard of him before, but didn't realize he was 7-6 and had, a sub 3.2 ERA, a 3.1 ERA. His last start was July 22nd. He went on the 15-day IL, and he's being activated tomorrow to start against the Rays. But his last start before his IL stint, 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs. Or the start before that against that almighty LA Dodgers, 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. Against Phillies, one of the best lineups in baseball, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. So he has been a bright spot for the Giants, who, in the second half of the season have been kind of like the Rays have with how bad that they've been. So the Rays need to bring their A game against Landon Roop, to say the least. He is a righty, and the Rays have traditionally hit righties well. But if we go to Joe Boyle, a guy that, talk about a bounce back, needs a bounce back. He was pretty awful against the Mariners. 3 1/3, 6 earned, 5 walks. If Joe Boyle's in the zone, he's unhittable. It's as simple as that. Can he be in the zone? And we look ahead to the other games. I think it's important for the Rays to, again, get a lead early and win that first game, because then the second game you get Hauser versus Verlander. And Verlander is not having a great season, to say the least. He's 1-9 with a 4.5 ERA. He's been better of late. He's gone at least 5 innings his last 4 times out. A few starts ago, 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned. Before the game, the kind of blow up against the Nationals, he only gave up 1 run over his last 15 innings. Then last time out against the Nationals, 11 hits, 5 earned. Kind of got roughed up a little bit, but he can still go vintage Verlander at times. And then I say you got to win those first 2, because in the wrap up game, you're facing Logan Webb, who I'm talking about underappreciated. Logan Webb has been one of the most underrated or underappreciated pitchers in baseball for the last 5 years now, since he came on the scene in 2021. Let me just read you his ERA total since 2021. 3 ERA, 2.9, 3.25, 3.47, 3.33. All that while winning 11, 15, 11, 13, 10 games. A lot of that, not really getting a lot of the help that he deserves. So the Rays have their hands full, to say the least, but it starts with a win tomorrow. And again, let's hope that maybe the Rays are going to go on a stretch where they go 8-2 in 10 games, and it's just starting 2-1 right now. Again, we'll try to be optimistic. As we'll head to the comments, we go to Ezra Gaynor, say, I wish they could all run like Chandler Simpson. Yeah, Chandler Simpson is 1 of 1. I think he is 1 of 1. As we go to It's Cat, a lot of comments about Bob Seymour, rightfully so. So I don't know how Bob Seymour hasn't been called up yet. It feels like every time B. Lauer Jr. don't hit a home run, we lose. Well, I think the Rays would have won today if they didn't hit the home runs. But yeah, you're right. The offense is kind of heavily on them right now. And the reason why it hasn't been called up is I believe the date is August 15th, where you can call up anyone for the minors, and this season doesn't count against their arbitration. Translated speaking, that next year would still be the rookie season if they came up post August 15th. So I think post August 15th, you're going to start seeing a lot of these guys come up. So the Rays, what's the difference? If I'm the Rays, I'm not bringing them up August 13th in a wrap-up series against the A's, right? I'm going to save that extra year of extension that I can get in them, and control I can get on them, and bring them up 2 days later. So don't be surprised if he's up from there. Let's go to Gary. Says, are the Rays that much better off performance-wise so far at the catcher position with Fortes and Fiducia than they were with Jansen and Theis? Not sure about that one yet. What are your thoughts? I think Fiducia's a guy that is going to break out. I mean, he hits the ball super hard. I mean, he had the 3rd hardest hit ball of the day today. Just happened to be caught. I think he's a guy that has been snake bitten a little bit in terms of hard hit balls kind of being caught. When you look at his baseball savant page, there is kind of some concern, but he from what I've seen, a lot of his outs have been hard hit outs. So I'm still more in that catch and see mode on him. Catch and see, wait and see mode on him to see what he can provide for the Rays, because I think he's more high upside than Theis or Jansen. As we go to Gary again, he says the Giants have lost 5 of the last 6 at home and has fallen out of contention in both the NL West and the wild card. So the Rays definitely have a good opportunity to win this upcoming series. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, man, I really hope the Giants just don't turn around, right, and sweep the Rays. That's the pessimistic me talking. But maybe they're on the side like the Rays are on. So I think the Rays bare minimum need to take 2 out of 3, and then go from there. Finish this road trip strong. If you take 2 out of 3 in this road trip, you end up finishing 500 on this 12-game road trip. You'll end up going 6-6, right? 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah. So that's what the Rays are aiming for. So they've sneakily won 2 out of 3 series. It's just getting swept by the Mariners hurts so much. So that freaking Friday night game is going to continue to win large. So they took 2 out of 3 against Anaheim, got swept. So they're 2-4 going to the series. Now they're 2-4, 2-5. No, my math is wrong. 2-4. Sorry guys, it's late. 2-4 going into the series. Now they are 4-5 heading into San Francisco. So again, a lot of that just to say that if the Rays take 2 out of 3, I think again, I'm not saying they're going to all of a sudden make a run and rattle off 10 in a row, but they're still in. Don't not watch Rays games anymore because the season's completely over. If that makes sense. Creo Southpaw asked that a lot of the wildcard teams lost today. Every single team ahead of the Rays, except for technically the Angels, who are tied with the Rays, lost today. So yeah, rightfully so. So yes. As we go to It's Cat, he says, I also feel like Tristan Peters got a little bit lucky. Yeah, a few times, but he just looks uncomfortable right now. I think a lot of strikeouts for Tristan Peters. He had another few today, and that's kind of been his issue. Yes, he's hit the ball hard a few times, but 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. And he's played in kind of 4 full games now and has struck out 7 times. So yeah, I don't know if he's gone unlucky, but he's definitely not playing up to what his potential would be. But again, a lot of comments about Seymour and other guys. Again, if they're gonna get brought up, it's gonna be post August 15th. So be on the lookout for that, because I got a few of these guys really do deserve a look, to say the least. So again, I'm super appreciative of all you guys sticking with me and joining past 1 a.m. every day Eastern time. 3 more games on this West Coast trip. Then we're back to the normal Eastern time zone for not the rest of the season, because they'll go in the Central, but Central/Eastern time zone for the rest of the season. So again, I appreciate all you guys so much for joining. I will see you guys Friday night.